very often, and different people have different philosophies about it, but if I haven't had an experience with my splices causing any problem, I'll put the center of the plate over that splice I made so that the ends are not anywhere near the end of the tape, causing the tape to lift up as well. That depends on how you want to do it and how good your splices are. But that's the way I'm going to do it for this illustration. Or I can just offset it a little bit. Now watch. Here's the next trick. Now here's the cut I made. So let's say I want the center of the plate to start somewhere around here, so that when I come around, I've covered that splice and I have no gap here that will allow solvent or anything to get in there. Okay, let's say I wanted to do that. And let's say I'm going to use this line right here as a reference. I see there's a nice horizontal line already. See if we can find any reference marks on this particular plate. I think that'll be a good reference mark. We're going to assume that that line is horizontal. Okay? Hopefully it's horizontal on the artwork. But very often you'll have little tick marks. There they are. I see them now. Okay, I've got my little register marks so that I can see across the plate. Now some people will take a ruler and go across those two marks, be it in the center of the plate or wherever it is, and make a line across the plate. I don't know that I like to do that because I can see those marks, and if I draw a line, that line might not be perfectly on those marks. So if I go by that, I keep propagating the error every time I do that. So I'm just going to refer to those pure marks there without any accent made by a pen. You want to use a pen? That's fine. That's up to you. Okay. Another thing is this. While I'm positioning my plate on this, I'm going to be doing checks to see how parallel I was and make adjustments from there. How even this plate is around the cylinder. If it's crooked like this or like that, when it comes around, I'm going to want to reposition it. If I took this mounting tape completely off the cylinder right now and mounted and repositioned, mounted, repositioned, it's going to be very difficult and it's probably going to mess up the tape or the plate or both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a narrow strip out, and then that narrow strip is the only tacky portion I'm going to allow to be there, so that I can then reposition it all I want, and when I remove the paper, I'll have plenty of tacky surface, and you'll see what I mean. Alright, so here we go. So I'm going to elect to make my cut right there. You determine where to make your cut based on your situation. Make a very light cut. I don't want to cut into the cylinder if I can avoid it. Make a light cut across the paper there. And then I'm going to make another light cut. Okay, you can do this freehand too, which is what I prefer, but I'm showing you this way. Okay, so now I have a little strip here, okay, that I've cut out, hopefully just through the liner, not through the tape, okay? Now some guys will go ahead and mark it, and I think that's fine. You take a mark and you mark the tape like that, right? I know most of you guys do that. So now you have a horizontal line across there, right? Okay, good. So now, I'm not going to worry about the center of the position, but you can use the ruler to position this and whatnot. I see that mark there, and I only have that narrow strip. I can position the plate, check the ends. If they're not good, continue to reposition until I feel pretty good about it before I take all of the paper off. And I'm going to do that. Another thing, pretty good adhesion on this thing. Nice. So watch. You see that it has a good adhesion, right? If I want to make it less tacky, that's why I have these things over here. You've seen these highlighters. Guys use this. It's a nice trick. What you can do is you can de-tack the tape at that point. But again, it's a variable that you may or may not want to introduce. That takes a little bit of the tack off. Let's see this. That's a better one. And what I'll do now is I'll remark that black line. And that, just because it's on a ruler doesn't mean it's perfectly parallel to the axis of the cylinder, so that might be another reason. Even if you get it right, you'll need to reposition. Who knows? We'll see. All right, so I'm going to position this here. I'm looking at my reference points. And remember, for this illustration, I'm not worried about registration or anything like that, but I am going to get it even. As even as I can. And I'm using marks that are built into the plate for the purpose. Tack it down. Tack it down. Alright, so I just give it a light tack down. I have those reference marks on that line, and I want to see how I did. So I bring this plate edge around. Ooh, that's pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and commit to that. What I'm looking at is the bearer bar is perfectly in line with the other one, okay? So now that I feel good about that, got lucky on the first try, now I can go ahead and remove the rest of the tape, okay? Trying to figure out what the easiest way to do it without losing my reference here. Okay. And you have to remember, I'm very rusty. You'll be a lot better than I am when you have practice with this. I grew up on wide web, which we have all kinds of fancy mounters and stuff like that, and more space to work with. All right. So I got that. Now let me get this other piece off. Now I've got the tape completely removed from around the cylinder. I hope I get lucky, and I hope it goes in the right place. All right. Now I should have said this, but I'll say it when the ends come around. Man, that looks good. I can't believe it. All right. So these edges are aligned nicely. The plate came out mounted nicely. I got lucky there, but now watch. When you're working with plates and you're mounting, your hands should be very clean, free of any oils or grease or anything like that. You wash your hands. The edges of the plate, if you want to use that black magic marker trick, that's up to you. I don't like it. I don't ever use it. Never. Never do I do that. And so, but if I have a good oil-free, clean plate, nice tacky mounting tape, and I haven't been repositioning a lot, this should stay down pretty well. It's a fairly large diameter cylinder for a narrow web label press, so that makes it easier too.